Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Leonardo Simple G, this time with an impression video on Final Fantasy Chronicles. Now, I've tried demo of Final Fantasy Chronicles on PlayStation 4, and for those who don't know, this is the remastered edition. Final Fantasy Chronicles is like a spin-off of the old Final Fantasy games, not these new ones where you have like the characters all looking like dolls. That version was released on the Gamecube, and then it stayed there, and it's been a few years. It's even got its own release on iOS and Android, so you can play it there. There's a Lite version there that you can play 13 dungeons for absolutely free, and then you have to pay for the rest of the game, but still, if you want, you can do that. And I'm just here talking to you about the release that was done on the PlayStation 4. Now, aesthetically the game looks amazing, it looks really good. The story is pretty simple. The world is filled with miasma, and to travel to this miasma you need a lantern. The lantern creates a shield around you, and so you can explore dungeons and places and forests like that. Also, there's barriers of miasma that you need to find the proper element to pass through those gates, through those barriers. And you can find these elements on dungeons by exploring dungeons. The game is pretty solid. At the beginning, you have 4 tribes to choose from. There's the usual, the Caravaneer tribe. There's the small, they look like Pikachus. The Pikachu tribe. There's one that looks like armored mechas. They're just, a little skinny more. And there's like the rebel phase. You can choose by one of these 4 tribes. Each one has 5 different models. And then you can, probably more ahead in the game, you can customize a little bit. But at this time, you cannot. Now, you travel to the world to fill this cup with the element that you need to take back to the village to make it prosper. Now, this element falls from the trees and mana, and it only drops 1 drop for each 2 years. So you need to be careful what kind of element you gather and how much you take it back to the village. It's really fun to play it. As you explore the dungeons, the Mog can carry the chalice, or you can carry it for him. You can have it always the Mog carry it, or you can carry it yourself. As you explore and you fight enemies, you find new items, new power-ups, and new spells, and also bosses. I mean, each boss, your experience increases. Once you found villages in certain cities, you can, craft new armor, craft new weapons. This is all typical. One thing that is different is that you can customize your Mog. I mean, you can paint it whatever color you like. It's not really easy to paint, but it can be done. So you have like your own personal Mog per se. The really cool thing about this is this has multiplayer and cross-play, which means you can be playing on any platform. You can just, matchmake with other people that are going on the same dungeons or on the same path as you. I don't know exactly how this works because multiplayer is closed on the demo version. But I believe is when you explore the dungeons and as you fight them. I don't know how they matchmake the powers of those dungeons, because once I looked at the map is really small. It doesn't seem to be very big. It has like 4 countries, and I explored 2. I think it's only a small version. It's a demo version, so I didn't have anything because it looks like it's pretty small. But then again, the game was released a few years back on GameCube, so maybe that's all they can develop at the time for the multiplayer system, because GameCube it didn't allow crossplay. GameCube didn't have like a big ecosystem to have everybody play at the same time, and at the time games didn't really explore multiplayer as much as they do now. But it's one of those features that you can explore, and the game does look amazing. Now, the game is fun to play, to face the enemies and to explore. The problem I had was with combat. The thing is, everything is done with the X button, and you choose whatever you want to do with R1 and L2. So, yeah, I didn't like it. There's no way to change the controller settings. So you have attacks, you have spells, you have cures, you have items, all on the same button, and you have to choose whatever you want with R1 and R2, which makes it really complicated. Sometimes I just ended up using for instance a spell. Then I wanted to hit him, but because I still have the spell selected, I ended up choosing the different thing. Another thing that I didn't like was usually in fighting games at PS4, it is the square that is to hit, and this is the X. The X is everything. So many times I was just opening up the menu many times because I was pressing, mashing square button, and then I was supposed to use the X button. Yeah, that's one of the things I really, really didn't like. I don't know why they made it like this. I don't know if it's something that GameCube had that you could probably use better, but as is, it's really complicated to use. You have to think about 3 steps ahead what you're going to do, where you're going to be, what the power you're going to use. So many times I just end up running around to select the right thing and then hit it, then select the right thing and hit it. Also, what happens is to use specials and to use magics, you have to press and hold, which means you stop moving. So if the enemy is preparing an attack, if you're preparing an attack and the enemy decides to strike you, you lose that moment. So yeah, combat can be complicated. Not exploring, not against the lower enemies, but against the boss or against groups of enemies. Right in the first time, I died about a couple of times because you find enemies that are harder than just the little ones that hit die with simple hits. You have to do like combinations of hits. So yeah, I didn't enjoy that. I think that the game, maybe when it's released, maybe in the full version, you can maybe change the settings for the controllers. That'll be my only boggle with it. Other than that, yeah, I suggest you give it a try. If you don't want to try it here, try it out on iOS or on Android because it's a lot more extensive. The Lite version, you have 13 dungeons, and probably matchmaking is also better there. I don't know. But yeah, that's my review of it. I wasn't let down. I was just a little bit, how can I say, frustrated with combat. Everything else was fine. So this has been my impressions video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, please like and subscribe. Play the game, try it at least once, and have a great game, guys.
Dreaming of the stars on high.